Thank you very much for joining me this evening, first and foremost.
Sure, glad to be with y'all.
All right, let's start off just by what we just saw. I mean, it was pretty clear that prospective juror number 113 was not someone that was going to make this jury. And I pretty much knew it right when he described the incident. I said, this guy's not going to get past scrutiny, because he basically described the incident as Chauvin put his knee on his neck and he killed him, and the officers watched and didn't do anything despite his pleas.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. As I started hearing his description, I thought this guy is going to have a really hard time articulating that what he has heard outside of court isn't going to factor into his verdict. And I think what you heard there at the end with the prosecutor asking him, if you're the pilot and you're flying the plane, how sure are you that you can do this? Because you can't be like, maybe I'm sure. We need a definite commitment of whether you can set what you heard outside of the courtroom aside and make your decision based on the evidence. And I think what we heard quickly from this potential juror was that he could not do that.
Yeah, you know what's been fascinating about this whole process is just how differing and how wide-ranging there are in terms of perspectives. I mean, this is a perspective, right? I can bring up, of the 30 some odd jurors we've seen so far, prospective jurors, I can bring up any number that respect the police, think they're honest, would even give more weight to their testimony than someone else's, meaning that badge and that uniform means so much. And then here's this young man who just could not do it. I mean, he had the exact opposite reaction to that badge and to that uniform. And as a former jury consultant, give me some perspective on that.
I think what we're seeing of the people who are coming in, and the really interesting thing about this jury, is that we're seeing a jury that is composed of a wide range of ages and demographics, race, gender. They've really got a mix in here that is more diverse than what we've seen in a lot of trials like this in the past. And I think that the greater group and body that we're seeing who are talked to in jury selection are representative of that as well. And it's just really interesting to me that I really believe what happened this summer has put this trial under a different kind of microscope. That means that for maybe one of the first times, we're going to see a different verdict. And that's really what I'm hoping comes from this more diverse and representative jury.
Now, what do you mean by that? It sounds as if you're saying some of these outside influences, all the different things that have come about as a result of the death of George Floyd, might have some sort of impact in this room? Or are you saying that because of the diversity in the room, it's going to be more likely that we might get a result like that?
I think both. I think the outside forces have impacted the parties in the courtroom. And, we hope that it's not impacting the verdict and that the jurors will listen to the evidence and make their decision based on that. But I think that what we're seeing is, I've tried plenty of cases and worked as a jury consultant in cases where I have seen one side or the other strike person after color after person after color, and bats and challenges are made, but we end up with 12 white jurors in that box making a decision that is not representative of the larger community. And I think because of what happened this summer, that this case is under a more intense microscope than what we have ever seen before, and that is holding the parties, whether consciously or subconsciously, to a more strict standard of what they do in that courtroom, how they question potential jurors from different backgrounds, and how they're exercising their strikes. And so I think it's impacting the parties, and I also think the composition of a more diverse jury really has the potential to impact this verdict in a more fair way.
All right, Michelle, I want you to stick around because I want to dig into that a little bit deeper. I think that's fascinating. And I think there are a lot of factors affecting this that include even COVID-19 might be affecting the shape and outcome of this trial. So we'll get to that in just a minute. Right now,